Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Genius Knowledge Point, your go-to place for practical programming solutions for diploma, computer and IT students. If you are stuck on any practical assignment or just want to learn how to solve programs step by step, then you are in the right place. The main purpose of making this video is to provide practical knowledge to all diploma students so that they can develop their own programs which will be helpful for their future. Now in this video we are going to perform practical number 21 of object oriented programming, which is for diploma, computer and IT third semester, and it is for the K scheme. So the practical number 21 is write a programs to implement virtual function. So we have already created some virtual functions in the previous practicals, but we have not seen the concept of virtual function there. So that we will see in detail in this practical. So what is virtual function? Virtual function is a function that is defined in the base class or parent class as a virtual, and it is redefined or overridden in the child class or derived class, and so that we can redefine its coding or redefine its purpose in the child class. So that is called a virtual function, and we have to use a virtual keyword while defining it in the parent class. So this is how the virtual function is created, and according to the object's pointer we can run its method or run its coding. We can run the coding from the parent class or the coding from the child class according to reference to the object. So this is how the virtual function is created and it is done. So next we will see the questions directly. The exercise questions are not related to program generation. They are having code statements, and you have to copy that code and paste it into compiler, and you have to write the output for that code. So that we will not see here. So moving toward the practical related questions. So the first question is, define a class parent in which use read function. Define another class child, use same read function. Display the data of both the read function on output screen using virtual function. So we have to create one class, that is parent class, and inside that we have to take a read function. Again we have to inherit that class into child class, and we have to use the same read function. So this read function will be virtual inside our parent class. So then we can redefine it in the child class, and we have to display the data for both the classes objects. So this is how the program will be. So now let us go to the coding part directly. So initially I am including both the header files. Then as given in the question, I am defining a class parent. So class space class name, this is the class name parent. Then inside that I am taking public access specifier, and inside public access specifier I am creating read function. So while creating read function I have to attach a virtual keyword before that, so it will become a virtual function. So the definition will be virtual, then void, this is the return type and this is the function name, and then empty set of parameters, that means empty bracket. So inside the definition statements I am writing cout message, that is a simple message, parent class read function is printed here, and finally attaching ending. So the function is closed here and class is also closed. Now moving toward the next class, that is child class as given in the question. So class child colon public parent. So this is the inheritance statement, that is parent class will be inherited to child class, and I am inheriting it using public access specifier. So inside the definition of class I am taking public access specifier and again redefining this function which is virtual in the parent class. So void read, again I am redefining the same function which is having same name and same set of parameters. So this is called function overriding. So in case of function overloading, we have seen in the previous practicals that whenever we are doing function overloading, we keep the function name same, but we take different set of parameters for different functions. But whenever we are overriding the function, we have to keep function name as well as set of parameters same. So if you see, the read function read name is same, and the set of parameter, that is bracket, is empty here in the both the cases. So this is how function overriding is done. So this is called function overriding. So we have overridden the read function which is already defined in the parent class. So this is how function overriding is done in the OOP. So inside that I am again putting a simple message, child class read function is called. So this will be the message, and finally closing with endl. So the class is the function is complete and class is also completed. Now moving toward the main function. So I am taking integer main. So this is the main function. Then inside the main function I am creating parent space star ptr. So what is this star ptr? This is the pointer object. So it is a pointer of parent class. So it will be pointing to the object of parent class. So this is how the pointer is created of parent class. So we have seen in the pointer to the derived class programs that whenever we want to access the child class properties, so we always create a pointer of parent class. So this is how the pointer of parent class is created. Then I am writing parent p. This is the creation of object. So parent p is the object name. Then again I am creating one more object of child class, that is child c. So first I am creating a pointer of parent, then I am creating object of parent, then I am creating object of child. So this is how the objects will be created and pointer is created. And now what I am doing, I am using this pointer to point to their particular object. So initially I am writing ptr is equal to ampersand p. So what it will do, it will assign the address of p object to the pointer. So as the pointer is of parent type, so it can store the address of p, because the parent class and parent pointer both are same. So it can store the address of object p. So this is how the pointer is pointing to p now, and I am calling the read method. And we have seen in the earlier programs that whenever we are using pointer, we have to use the arrow operator. So ptr arrow read. So this is how I am calling read method, but it will be called on the object p, because pointer is now pointing to p object. So it will run the p's read method, that is parents read method, and it will display parent class read function. Now what I am doing, I am pointing this same pointer to object c. So as the pointer is of type parent p, it can point to the c or derived class object, because parent is having less properties and child is having more properties. So less properties pointer can be pointed to child. So this is how, or you can say parents pointer can be pointed to child object. So I am pointing this ptr is equal to ampersand c. Now the pointer is storing address of c object, which is of child class. Now I am writing ptr arrow read. So what it will do, it will run the read method for c object, because pointer is pointing to c now. So this will run this code, that is child class read function is called. So this is how it will run the child method, and this method will run parents method. So finally the get ch is there to hold the output stream, and I am returning 0 as main is having integer return type. So the program is complete here, selecting the entire code, copying the code, then pasting into the compiler. Now running the code, if you see the output is displayed as parent class read function, which is the first ptr which is called using first ptr object, and second it is displaying child class read function, so which is called using second time ptr and arrow function. So this is how you can use a virtual function. And creating pointer, you have to decide which method you want to run. If you want to run the method from parent class, you have to point that pointer to the parent class object, and if you want to run the method from child class, you have to point that pointer to the child class object. So this is how the respective methods will be called, and this is how we have used the virtual function in the first question. Now the second question from practical related questions is, write a program which shows the use of function overriding. So the class names or the class definitions are not given here. We just have to assume any classes, we have to use inheritance, and we have to use the function overriding. So what is function overriding? Whenever we are having multiple functions with the same name and same set of parameters, that becomes function overriding. And function overriding is done in the inheritance, that is one function is defined in the parent class, then the same function is again defined in the child class, and according to their objects their respective methods or respective function coding will run. If you are calling the function with the parent class object, it will run the coding from parent class, and if you are calling the function with the child class object, then it will run the coding from child class. This is how function overriding is done, and it is different from function overloading because it is having same function name but different set of parameters and their definitions are different, and according to their set of parameters or parameter signature we call respective functions. So let us directly move to the coding part. So initially I am including both the header files, and I am creating one class, that is class base. This is the parent class or base class. Then inside public access specifier I am defining a method or function which is void display, which is having display as a name, and in bracket the parameters are not passed. So this is how the display function signature is. Next, inside display function I am writing a message display function in base class. So this is the simple message I am typing here, and that will be displayed, and finally attaching endl. So the function is complete and class is also completed. Next I am creating a derived class as a class derived colon public base. So this is how I am inheriting the base class properties into derived class. So while inheriting these base class properties, what will happen, this display function is already inherited here, so we don't want this display function to run here. So what we want to run our coding for derived class. So what I will do, I will redefine this display function again. So how I am redefining it, inside public section I am writing the same statement, that is void display and without brackets. So if you see, both the functions are same, that is their names are same and the parameter set is also same, so it becomes function overriding. So we have overridden this display function inside derived class, and inside this I am writing as a message display function in derived class. So this is the message which I want to run inside derived class, and this is the message that will be run inside base class. So this is how we are differentiating their coding, and according to their object their respective method can be called. So I am closing the display function here, which is overridden now, and closing the class. Now moving toward the main function. Inside main I am taking object of base class, so base space base obj. So this is the object of base class. Then I am creating second object which is of derived class, so derived space derived obj. So this is the derived class object. Now what I am doing, I am calling the display function using base obj, which is of base class. So what will happen, it will call this display function which is defined inside the base class, because we are calling it using base class object. So this is how the coding will be run or the functions will be called. Whenever you want to call a function from base class, you have to use a base class object, and whenever you want to run the coding from derived class, you have to call that using it derived class object. So this is how the coding or functions are differentiated using different objects. So again I am writing second statement, that is derived obj dot display. So this time it will run the coding from derived class object. So this is how the functions are differentiated here. Both the functions are having same name. Then I am holding the screen with getch and finally returning 0. So the main is closed here and program is also closed. Copying the entire code, going to compiler and pasting the code and running the code. So if you see, both the functions are run properly. First it is displaying display function in base class as a message, and second message is display function in derived class. So according to our objects, it has called the proper functions. Whenever we are calling the base class object for display function, so it will run the base class definition, and whenever we are calling the display function using derived class object, it is displaying the derived class definition. So this is how we have overridden the functions which are in the base class, and same function is defined in the derived class. So this is how the questions are completed. Only 2 questions were there, and the concept of virtual function is also completed, and the practical number 21 is performed here. So that's it for today's practical. I hope this helped you understand the solution clearly. Code for this practical is available at the link given in the description. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel for more such diploma level programming solutions. If you have any doubts or need solutions for other programs, drop a comment below. I will be happy to help. And hit the bell icon so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching and happy coding.